In this video, I'll demonstrate iteration control structure in Java. So iteration control structure in Java, we have while loop, do while loop, and then for loop. I also added um, yung paggamit ng nested for loop. Okay, later we will see how nested for loop works. Okay, so to begin with, let's declare a class. Let's call it iteration demo. So in every class, it's required to put uh, the, s- the main method. So public static void main string args. Let's save the program first. So iteration demo.java. And then ilagay ko lang sa loob itong comments. This will serve as our guide for this demonstration. Okay? So since I will ask for input from the user, let's import java.util.scanner. Okay, sorry. So, napansin ko dito, public static muna. Public static void main string arg. Let's create scanner object. So, the first iteration control structure is the while loop. So, to test while loop, let's first ask a number. So, dito yung gagawin natin. I will ask for a number and then any number below 20. Then we will loop from that number until 20. Okay? Using while loop. So, let's say enter num1. So, let's declare a variable here. Let's call it num1. Then we ask for an input. So, input.next int. So, lagay lang ko dito ng label. This is the while loop. Using while loop. Okay, so for the while loop, so the keyword while, the condition here. So, num1 is greater than or equal to 20. Inside, I will print the value of num. So num1 and then space. And then we increment num plus num1 plus plus. So in every iteration, we add 1 to num1 until it will reach 20. Okay, so let's try this out. So let me locate first my file. So I save it on my drive D in Java demonstration folder. So let's compile Java C iteration demo.java. Let's execute. So Java iteration demo. So for example, 12. Okay, using while loop. So 12, 13, 14 hanggang 20. Nice. So successful. Successful yung while loop natin. So next is do while loop. So let's ask a number again. So dito gawin naman natin pabaliktad. Okay, we will ask for a certain number, then um any number, then pababa naman. Okay, we will decrement the number until it will reach 1. Okay? So let's ask for a number. So enter. Let's call it num2. Lagay lang tayo dito ng new line 2 para makita natin yung division ng while loop and do while loop. So int num2 equals input next int. So maglagay din po tayo dito ng label. So dinuplicate ko na lang to. So dadagdagan ko na lang ng do while loop. So for the do while loop, we have the keyword do, and then yung while niya nasa baba. That is the format. So system, ganun din sa while loop, ipiprint natin yung value ng num2. Then let's separate it using a space. Of course, we decrement. And then our condition is if num2 is greater than 0. Okay? So, ibig sabihin hanggang 1 lang sa magdi-decrement. Okay? So, let's try this out. Okay, successfully compiled. So, number 6. Tama, 6 to 20. So, yung number naman is 12. So, yun, tama, di ba? 12, 11, 10, 9, 8 until 1. Okay? So, just please take note the keywords and then the format in using while loop and then do while loop. But as for the difference between these two, take note that do while loop, meron na siyang isang siguradong iteration compared sa while loop. Okay? And then also, the difference is, sa while loop, condition muna before the statement. But for the do while loop, ang nauuna po dyan is yung statement. After the statement, dyan pa lang mag-evaluate nung condition. Next is for loop. So sa for loop naman, yung gawin natin, we ask for 2 numbers. So let's say enter start. So starting number and ending. So yung gagawin natin, kung anong ma-input na number, dyan magsisimula yung count until yung susunod na input, which is yung end. So start equals input that next int. Then another one, we ask for end naman. Duplicate ko lang tong line of code na to. Papalitan ko lang ng end. Okay? So we ask for 2 number. Start and then end. So let's put a label here. Ito using for loop. Okay? So for we have a format in using for loop. First is the initialization. So let's declare here a variable. Let's call it I. So sabi ko nga, we will start with kung ano man yung value ni start. And then our condition is I is less than or equal to end. And then we will increment by 1. Okay? So that is the format. This is the initialization, condition, and then this is the step expression. And then we will output the value of I in every iteration. We will separate it using a space. Okay? Sige, let's try this out. So num1, 12. 12 din, ilagay natin sa num2. So starting number, for example, 3 until 10. Okay, so correct. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next is the nested for loop. Dito, sige, add ko lang. When using the step increment, hindi siya parating I++. Pwede ka rin mag-increment ng kahit ilan. Halimbawa, by 2s. Pwede po yan. So, sige. If you want to, yung step expression is by 2. So, yung gagawin nyo is I equals I plus 2. Okay? And merong short version nito, gawin nyo na lang plus equal. Okay? Same thing. Same thing lang yun dun sa kanina. So, it will add 2 sa I. Okay, sige. Let's try this out. Compile. Run. So, halimbawa from 2 to 40. And then, since yung step increment niya is by 2, ang i-add niya is 2. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, so on and so forth. Okay? So, yan yung paggamit ng step increment dito. Next is nested for loop. So, for nested for loop, when you say nested for loop, sa loob ng loop, meron pang isa pang loop. Okay? So, dito, let's ask a number. Again. Let's call it num3. Okay? So, yung gagawin natin is we will display or output the multiplication table of a certain number. Okay? So, halimbawa, ang in-input niya is 3. So, yung 1, 2, 3, we will, yung mga multiples of 1, multiples of 2, multiples of 3. Yung first 10 multiples. Okay? So, gawa ko dito ng first, the for loop. So, int I is equals to 1 kasi we will start with 1. So, kung 3 yung in-input niya, multiples of 1, 2, and then 3. Kapag 5 naman, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I is less than or equal to the inputted number ng number 3. Then, I++. So, dito tayo gagamit ng nested for loop. So, inside this loop, we will declare another for loop. So, 1. Sabi ko nga yung first 10 multiple nung number na yun. So, hanggang 10. So, j is less than or equal to 10. And then here, we increment it by 1. So, system, i-output natin yung so, ito times natin yung dalawa. So, I times j. Okay? So, dito nga sa first for loop, we will loop kung ilan yung number. So, halimbawa, 3 yung nilagay niya, we will loop from 1, 2, 3. And then each number, yung 1, 2, 3, we will increment 10. 10 numbers. And then ita-times yun kung ano man yung number na nasa unang for loop. So kapag 1, 1 times 1, 1 times 2, 1 times 3. Kapag 2 naman, 2 times 1, 2 times 2. So you get the idea. Okay? So let's separate it by a space. And then I will put here a print new line. So system.out.println. So, para mahiwalay natin yung bawat number. Okay, so let's try this out. Oops. So cannot find symbol. Okay, my fault. Di tayo nag-ask ng input. So let's declare num3 and then input that next int. So let's try to compile this. Okay, successful. Execute. Ilagay natin 12, 12, 1 to 10. And for num3, sabi ko nga yung example natin 3 kanina. Okay, so tama, di ba? So multiples of 1, 2, 3, 4 hanggang 10. Multiples of 2, 4, 6, 8 hanggang 20. Multiples of 3. Yung first 10 yan. 1, 2, 3, basta 10 yan. So paano kung 10 yung ilagay natin? Sige, try natin. 12, 12, 1 and then 10. 10. Okay, so yan. So we get the multiples of 1 to 10. Okay? So this is just using nested for loop. Dalawang loop. Okay, naka-nest. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching.